Hi everyone, and welcome to the We Are Gonna Make It podcast show, your trusted source for an exhilarating dive into the world of technology, all served up under 15 minutes. I'm your host Harshdeep, and together we'll embark on a thrilling exploration of the deepest corners of the tech universe. Today, our journey takes us to an extraordinary realm within the tech landscape, a realm that's reshaping the field of natural language processing. You've probably interacted with NLP without even realizing it. Whether you ask Siri about the weather or engage with a customer service bot, you've already dipped your toe into the waters of NLP. But hold on tight, because the game is about to be changed. Emerging from the depths of technological innovation, we have a new player in town: large language models, or LLMs. These aren't your average players. They are powerful deep learning models designed to process and comprehend vast amounts of natural language data. Picture them as tech marvels built on complex neural network architectures known as the transformer architectures. These architectures allow LLMs to navigate through massive datasets and uncover intricate patterns within language on an astonishing scale. The true strength of LLMs lies in their ability to understand language in context just as humans would do. This leads to remarkably accurate predictions for tasks like text generation, text completion, and so much more. But what makes these models so extraordinary? What's their secret ingredient? Enters the mechanism known as self-attention. Imagine having a meticulous reader residing within the model, someone who knows precisely where to focus their attention. This mechanism grants the model the power to weigh the significance of different words or phrases within a given context. It highlights the crucial information while reducing the noise of less relevant details. And this is the ability to grasp the long-range dependencies, nuances, and contextual cues which makes the language such a vibrant and effective means of communication. Now you might be wondering, how does all of this translate into our day-to-day lives? Well, let's dive into some tangible examples here. Picture yourself as a tech giant that's preparing to launch a cutting-edge smartphone. And let's name that smartphone DBZ9000. A lot of you Dragon Ball Z enthusiasts must know what that meme means. So you want to generate a captivating and contextually relevant text to introduce your product to the market. This is where autoregressive LLMs like OpenAI's GPT-4 are helpful. You feed into the model introducing the new smartphone DBZ9000, which is designed to, and leave it to the model then. And like magic, it completes the sentence by writing, "Redefine your mobile experience with its cutting-edge technology and unparalleled performance." And isn't that impressive? But that's only one side of the coin. If you flip it, you'll find auto-encoding LLMs as well, for example Google's BERT. And these models can fill in the blanks in a sentence, generating semantically meaningful and complete text. So imagine if you're writing a movie review and you type, "The latest superhero movie had a dash storyline, but the visual effects were dash." Now BERT would step in and complete this as follows. "The latest superhero movie had a decent storyline, but the visual effects were mind-blowing." And this is only one of the cases that I'm explaining. It could be endless number of things that it could generate. Now you might be finding these examples a little simple, but believe me when I say this, there's a complex symphony of processes that play behind the scenes. LLMs are constructed using several key building blocks, and it all starts with tokenization. Tokenization is where it breaks down text into manageable pieces, often individual words or even part of words. Then we have embeddings, which transform these texts into numerical vectors that can capture the meaning. And finally, let's not forget the attention mechanism, which allows the model to selectively focus on different parts of the input text. This is where seamlessly understanding the context of the text comes in. So when you interact with an LLM, you're essentially providing it with a prompt, which is like a jumping off point. And the model takes this as a starting point, predicts the next likely sequence of words. And here's the intriguing part. It does this in a semi-random manner, which is something similar to rolling a die. However, it's not a complete free-for-all. The model biases its roles towards the tokens of words which are deemed likely based on extensive training. So to simplify, picture a number line from 0 to 1, which is divided into a lot of sections. And each of these are representing a token itself. Now the section's sizes reflect the token's probabilities, and a larger section would have more probable tokens. So the model metaphorically throws a dart and selects the token it hits. Yet it doesn't just select any random word, it usually leans towards a token with higher probabilities first. And that's why if you give it a prompt like, I went to see Dubai, it'll likely follow up with something luxurious or a venue in the city itself. Now let's move on to understanding how does the training phase of LLM carry on. And this is a fascinating two-step dance. The first step is pre-training, where the model learns from an extensive, usually unsupervised dataset to understand the general language pattern. Then comes the second step, which is transfer learning. And during the transfer learning phase, the model's general knowledge is fine-tuned for a specific task using smaller task-specific datasets. This process drastically reduces the need for label data and training time while achieving remarkable performance on various NLP tasks. Now, where can we find remarkable models in action? Well, there's an array of impressive options here. From Microsoft's Turing NLG to DeepMind's Gopher and Chinchilla, from Google's Switch Transformer and T5 to OpenAI's GPT-3 and its variants like GPT-Neo, GPT-J, and God knows how many more. These are models that are revolutionizing the field of natural language processing. They enable machines to understand and generate human language with astonishing accuracy. With the capacity to handle sentiment analysis, question answering, document classification, and text generation, LLMs are paving the way for a new era of NLP applications. Companies can harness the power of these models by enhanced customer service, answering questions based on customer feedback, or even generating summaries of lengthy documents. However, it's not only the business world that stands to benefit from it. The impact of LLMs on our everyday lives cannot be overstated. The next conversation you have with Siri or with Alexa will be the testament to that. These models are evolving at an alarming rate and are more accurate, nuanced, and human-like in their understanding and generation of language, which is effectively bridging the gap between humans and machines today. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate the historical journey of these language models. They didn't magically appear overnight. They've been in the making for many decades now. NLP traces its roots back to the 1950s when IBM and Georgetown University collaborated to translate Russian to English phrases. Various approaches have been explored, but it wasn't until 2010s, with the surge in neural network research, that the foundation was laid for the first large language model. And speaking of firsts, let's give a shout out to BERT, because Google introduced BERT in 2019 and it was a groundbreaking language model that set the stage for what was to come. BERT's brilliance lies in its bidirectional nature, and it takes into account the context of words that precede and follow a given word in a sentence, making it highly effective in understanding the relationship between words. Pre-trained on vast amounts of unstructured data, BERT absorbed rich linguistic knowledge, and within mere 18 months of its debut, BERT powered nearly every English language query processed by Google search. But BERT was just the beginning. Researchers in their quest to create even more powerful models have consistently increased their sizes. It's like witnessing new Moore's law for the language models itself. These language giants have steadily grown from BERT's 340 million parameters to GPT-2's 1.5 billion parameters to GPT-3's 175 billion parameters, and most recently, GPT-4 estimated to boast 1 trillion parameters itself. And as these models have expanded, so have their capabilities, with subsequent iterations generating increasingly coherent and contextually accurate text. Alright, now let's move on to exploring some of the specific applications of LLMs. One fascinating use of LLMs is sentiment analysis through in-context learning. By providing a few examples of a task and asking the model to generate an answer based on those examples, you can effectively analyze sentiments. For instance, you can train an LLM to categorize music reviews as positive or negative based on a few example instances. This technique enables the model to effectively understand and categorize these sentiments itself. LLMs are also powerful tools for text categorization, and this can be achieved through either fine-tuning on labeled datasets or prompt engineering. For short text pieces, a similar approach to sentiment analysis can be employed. But for longer text pieces, you can ask LLM a question that prompts it to identify the most relevant category for the text. For example, business, sports, news, anything like that. Text editing and translation are also areas where LLMs shine. They can help improve the quality of writing by checking grammar, spelling, and rewriting the sentences for conciseness. These models are also valuable tools for extracting information from large volumes of data. You can approach this in two primary ways. First is fine-tuning, and other is querying. Fine-tuning involves training the LLM on a labeled dataset, while querying involves formulating extraction tasks as natural language prompts. The choice between two approaches depends on the availability of resources and specific requirements. Additionally, LLMs can also be leveraged for summarizing extensive texts. While earlier models were specifically designed for this purpose, modern LLMs have made text summarization even easier. With a single prompt, these models can generate concise summaries or key points from a text. Now, a very interesting point about LLMs as they grow in size and capabilities, they exhibit something called emergent abilities that offer unexpected advancements. One such ability is in-context learning or few shot prompting. LLMs can understand specific contexts or prompts with only a few examples or instructions, making them adaptable and capable of generating meaningful responses. This feature opens up possibilities for a quick adaptation in various applications without extensive training or specialized knowledge. Finally, I'm going to be talking about prompt engineering, which is all the hot take today, which enhances the performance of LLMs by constructing prompts that guide the model to exhibit desired behaviors. By designing prompts to reinforce specific tasks or objectives, the model generates more accurate and contextually appropriate responses. And for the developers out there are several resources available today, including libraries from OpenAI, Cohere Python, Hugging Face, LangChain, and AutoGPT. These resources empower developers to harness the power of LLMs in their applications effectively. As we reach the end of our exhilarating journey through the world of LLMs, it's time to reflect on the incredible possibilities they bring and the motivation they ignite within us. Throughout the show, we've explored the transformative power of this technology in understanding and generating human language, unlocking new frontiers in technology and creativity. LLMs have shown us that every person, regardless of their coding expertise or specific skill set, can harness the power of language to create wonders. Whether it's crafting captivating content, producing stunning artwork, or even delving into the world of coding, the possibilities are truly endless. With these models at our disposal, we have the remarkable tool that can understand and amplify our ideas, empowering us to bring them to life. So to all the listeners out there, we encourage you to embrace these technologies, to step into the world of LLMs and unleash your imagination. Don't be afraid to explore, experiment, and create something truly remarkable. The power of language is in your hands, and with it, you can shape the future. And finally, remember, together, we are gonna make it. Goodbye.